Welcome to another great video. We're talking CPP. Changes coming in 2025. What other changes? What you need to know? That's exactly what we're going to tackle today. But we got to remember that in 2019,
Way back.
yeah, 6 years ago now, they started doing a multi-year program for CPP, implementing these new phases. And that's kind of the continuation of that multi-period change that we're seeing or going to see
Exactly.
in 2025. But before we get there, people collecting now, they're getting a raise.
They are. So the first change for 2025 is news that the current CPP beneficiaries are all getting a raise, as we mentioned. In January of 2024, it increased by 4.3%, or I'm sorry, 4.8%.
Yeah.
And in 2025, due to inflation, we are increasing by another 2.7% again. So we are adding on. So those that are collecting, you are getting a raise, and you will continue to get raises as long as there's inflation out there.
It's an inflation-adjusted pension, so that's the inflation adjustment for 25, 2.7%. A quick refresher here, so we have some context to understand all these 2025 changes. We won't go through every nuance of CPP, but a quick refresher. It's a paid component, so you add money to the plan.
Not an
after your
program
employer.
it is.
Government doesn't add any money. It's really you and your employer that put the cash in. If you're self-employed, you do both pieces, yours and the employer's. There's two earning ceilings. There's a first earning ceiling, and then part of this multi-phase adjustment.
Adding a
Added a second one. We'll talk about that again in a moment. So there's a cap. Eventually, you stop contributing to CPP if your income keeps going up. And then there's the benefits, of course. You put money in, you get money out, whether it's in retirement. If you pass away, there's a death benefit. If you're disabled, there's a disability benefit. There's even stuff for your spouse and could be for your dependent children as well. Lots of benefits there that could come out of CPP. But that's CPP in a nutshell. What's changing in 25?
Yeah, and when we're looking at the changes for 2025, first we want to look at those phases that we've talked about. So in 2019, we phased it in. We're going to a two-phase system. So phase two kicked in last year. When phase one was over the first 5 years of the plan, phase two kicked in last year going forward. And between 2019 and 2023, phase one contributions slowly have increased from 4.95% to 5.95%. So you're now paying more into the program under the theory that eventually you're going to get more out of the program. Now, under phase two, we've introduced a second earning ceiling and a second contribution rate. So that's part of what we're dealing with. And now we have to find out what those earning ceilings are.
Exactly. So again, because there's a lot of moving parts here, phase one was 2019 to 2023. You're paying in 4.9% of your earnings up to a cap. Your employer was doing the same. That rate increased. It's now 5.95.
That it is.
It'll stay the same in 2025. That rate's not changing. But last year, they introduced the second earnings ceiling, and that's really the big change in 25. So the first earnings ceiling, it's going to go to $71,300.
Yep.
It was $68,500 last year. So they're bumping up the initial ceiling. Now you pay into the plan up to $71,300, and then now there's a second ceiling above that for $81,200. So that's the biggest change, because last year that was about $73,200. So you see a pretty big increase from $70,200 all the way up to $81,200. So the difference here from first $3,500 is exempt, and you don't pay any CPP on that. But for above that exemption, so income above $3,500 all the way up to $71,300, you're paying 5.95%.
And then when you move to the second one,
which is going to be from $71,300 up to $81,200, that range, you're now paying 4% into there. So now you have these two components where you're contributing at different rates to CPP. And of course, your company is going to match that, or if you're self-employed, you do both parts. So the max contribution, if you top up, you go all the way up to $81,200 of income, you're going to pay in about $4,430.10.
Well, exactly.
Which is almost $400 more than last year. And if you're self-employed, well, times that by two.
Yeah, you're going to be looking at that $8,806 as opposed to $8,100. So you're right. You're now almost $800 up higher than what you were beforehand.
And we'll get some more. But before we do, folks always have questions on CPP. How do they get a hold of us?
They go to chatwithclintonandkevin.com. By all means, give us your questions there. If you want more information on CPP, whether it's the latest updates or how it really works, again, or if there's any other financial questions, please feel free to come and get us there or look at us on the website. Also, by that sort of scenario, send us any questions. It comes directly to Clinton and myself. It is not going to a robot or anything along those lines, and we'll get back to you as fast as we can. And there's another introduction we have on our website now as well.
We have a newsletter. So chat with ClintonandKevin.com if you have a direct question. If you just want more information, want a weekly update, you want to get invites to our webinars completely free, go to the Becker Orr website, sign up for the newsletter, and you'll get all those extra tips and details right into your inbox. So that is your choice. You can sign up if you like. We talked about some of the changes in 2025. We also have to talk about more changes that could be
Yeah,
in the
going
future.
so we're looking at that future projection thing. So the contributions raised are expected to remain the same going forward. So that's sort of that 14% spread between the two levels is expected to stay the same way. You are going to get inflation adjusted increases each and every year. So don't think that it's going to stay at that 73 and 81 sort of levels. Those levels are going to continue to go up, but both earning ceilings are projected to have annual increases with wage growth as well. And that second ceiling, as we said, is sort of that 14% scenario. So basically, we need to figure out how does this affect you going forward?
Yeah, so they made all those changes, right?
Yep.
So they had that first ceiling and now a second ceiling, both going to go up with wage growth. Those contribution rates, 5.95 and 4% will stay the same.
Not
What does it all mean to you in the bottom line? Well, if you're already collecting CPP, not much.
No, just
You're
an
gonna
inflation boost.
Yeah, you got a little raise in January with your inflation boost, not much else. If you're coming close to retirement, what would it mean for those folks?
Well, those that are coming close to expect larger CPP benefits at retirement. I mean, that's the whole theory is that we're putting more money in, so you're going to start getting more money out. So the maximum CPP, if you work for 40 years now, if you're in your early career, 40 years down the road, we're expecting that this whole process is going to give you a 50% increase on what you're dealing with. Now, again, assuming that you're earning at that high level and everything else along those lines. So again, if you're earning a little over 1,300 right now on the max CPP, you're going to be getting, over 2,000 with that boost going forward based on the policy that they're implementing and that number of years before you're going to get it going
So if
forward.
you're already collecting CPP, not really any difference for you. If you're close to retirement, you only have a couple of contributions into this new system, so it won't have a big impact on you.
No, still
And as you just mentioned, for those folks early in the career, that's really who this is for.
yeah.
Is you're going to have many years of work, decades of work under the new system, and you could get up to a 50% bonus on your CPP. So the max CPP is going up. You're putting more in, you're allowed to take more out. So from about
the way it
1,300
works.
bucks, about 2,000 bucks max at 65 is kind of how the math is going to work out. That's really the whole details there in a nutshell. If you have questions on CPP, we got lots of videos, including a full webinar on how to get the most from CPP and OAS.
Visit.
Click on that one. We'll see you again very soon.